Well, if you enjoyed the 8s action, we've got more for you. This is now the Thames Challenge Cup. This is for Club 8. On the right-hand side of your screen, City of Bristol Rowing Club versus Tideway Scullers School on the left-hand side of your picture. And it's another great start for the Buck Station here, Catherine.
It is a little bit, always aware of steering at this point. You know, having sat there many times myself, the first thing you do is how level are you? Because you feel like you're alongside the island, you feel like you're alongside the bank, but both have a slight, they're not dead straight, so actually you sometimes have to steer and then recorrect. The great thing, obviously, as we've said many times, with the cock steering these 8s, then as an athlete, even if it doesn't feel you're in the right place, the cocks will quickly correct it.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to have affected City of Bristol's speed at the moment, although they are dropping back through those opening stages from Tideway Scullers. We're going to catch up with them now a little bit further down the course, and it is Tideway Scullers there, the right-hand side of your picture, the yellow and red of Scullers that have the advantage. It looks to be just over a length or so. There's clear water separating the bows and the sterns, but Scullers just coming across here into the centre of the river. I'm not quite sure why they'd be doing that, Catherine.
No, it's not an obvious thing, and obviously when you're clear you can move more to the centre, but you really, you know, it's a bit of a gameplay. When you're comfortable and clear, you're not going to impede the opposition, then you can move to the centre. And obviously if you see on as we're looking at them now, those left-hand blades on bow side of Tideway Scullers, you know, what you can do is send what we call dirty water, but you see the rough water coming out from the puddles of the blade, and that can upset the crew next to you. So sometimes there's a little bit of just sending down a bit rougher water for the crew behind you to try and tackle.
Yeah, we just saw Richard Phelps, the umpire there, who stands atop the launch, just sort of tickling with his flag, just deciding whether he maybe wanted to put Tideway Scullers back in their place on the Berkshire station, but decided that they're fine where they are for now. City of Bristol, well, they're sticking with them again. This is some good mid-race pace from City of Bristol, and great to see them making it through to the Friday here in this Thames Challenge Cup. You know, a club that we don't see too often progressing to this stage, spawned out of a social club on the docks in Bristol, you know, 65 years ago that they were based there.
Exactly that, and you know, we talk about this many times as well, is Henley Regatta, it's got a big fancy title, it's got a big fancy legacy, and yet you really wanted to feel ultimately it's just a rowing regatta that you want as many clubs from as many parts of the country to come and enjoy and feel they belong here. And it's really important to see clubs like City of Bristol here. As you said, getting to Friday, that's a very competitive boat that's put in a great show here, and hopefully they'll be very proud of their performance today.
Yeah, you know, we forget Friday's the quarter-finals effectively, right? You're in the top 8 crews of any given event, which, given the entries in the likes of the Thames Cup, where you've got so many clubs up and down the country trying to even just make it in, this is really amazing. And Tideway Scullers as well, they've got a lot of entries across the club events. They're a very strong programme, and just getting the better at this point past Remmenham.
I mean, Tideway Scullers obviously incredible heritage at this course, and with many past crews doing brilliantly. City of Bristol, not, you know, they've almost got overlap. They're not being dropped completely from this race. And what we often see as well, getting to Friday is a huge success, but hopefully they'll stick around, enjoy the weekend's racing, and learn from this experience, be back again next year.
Well, again, they are certainly sticking to their race rhythm. They're not letting Tideway Scullers go. It's like they've got a lasso over them, and they're just sticking them at the same distance. And I'm sure they're rowing with a lot of passion actually here this week, because they're rowing in memory of a squad member that sadly passed away in the autumn of last year, Dacra Capstick, who they are rowing in memory of. So even more sort of reason to give it everything they've got here, and what could be their final run down the track.
And do you know what? Sometimes we often talk about, you know, when you go into that dark tunnel, that really hard part of the race where everything hurts and the central part of your brain is telling you to stop, and you know you need to overtake that. You have to dig deep and find something that's truly motivational, and every athlete will find that in a different place, in a different way. But for this crew, as you said, for City of Bristol to feel they're doing it for a crewmate they've lost, that's such a brilliant human motivation. That keeps your head up and your legs powering, and it really means there's something, you know, bigger than just a rowing race at stake here. And I think that's you know, it's awful that the tragedies happen, but how wonderful to do it in that person's name.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of City of Bristol fans tuning in to watch this race, and they will be extremely proud. And we're looking at pictures of Tideway Scullers who just doing enough to control this race. You know, it's like they're sort of coasting on, you know, foot on the pedal, making sure they're doing what they can. And this crew 8th in the Championship 8s at the Metropolitan Regatta, you know, big regatta held at Dorney Lake, the home of the 2012 Olympic rowing event. And it looks like actually they're just starting to wind up through the gears. I'm not sure I think City of Bristol are actually closing through these final stages.
Well, as we've said, I mean, why wouldn't you? This is, you know, you're going to do the full sprint of the regatta, you're now overlapping. It's going to be a very tight finish, which is, again, this can Tideway Scullers react, and they wouldn't have expected this big sprint from Bristol, and that's actually wonderful to push both boats right to the finish line.
Well, lifted by that passionate row, City of Bristol have managed to regain contact, but it will be Tideway Scullers that progress through to the Saturday of the Thames Challenge Cup. And what a great race there from both of those crews.